was in the house. Left to his own devices, how long would it have taken his father to open the bedroom door? And if he had, how much would he have understood? It never occurred to Stuart that Dr. Lane might open the bedroom door, until he did. Stuart stayed with Dr. Lane's stride on entering. He made the only choice he decided that he had, to treat this as he would any difficult day on the job. Stuart was a medical professional. His mother had made sure of that.
"Why don't you take care of things on the bedside table, Dr. MacDonald?"
Dr. Lane said, motioning toward it.
"I'll take care of your mother."
The table was small. This could be simple. His eyes went first to the bottles of pills. He wondered why they made them all the same color, so hard to tell apart. Stuart's heartbeat had felt too high in his chest, and now it hopped up even higher. When he reached the table, Stuart picked up the bottles one by one and tried to look like he was studying the labels. He contemplated taking out his notepad and copying down the drug names and dosages. Instead, Stuart glanced at Dr. Lane. He couldn't bear to watch what Dr. Lane was doing with his mother's body, so he noticed instead the quiet. The doctor's movements made no sound, and yet he had metal utensils. Why couldn't Stuart hear anything? He turned back to the side table and picked up the bottles again, this time putting them back down deliberately and lining them up, reassured by the small clicks they made as they touched. The sound broke up the silence in his mind. Not satisfied, he reached for a sheet of paper also on the table, which had more potential. It would crunch nicely as he balled it up. Stuart had not noticed this paper before, even though it took up more space than the bottles. Or maybe that was not true, he realized, no longer considering balling up the page. Maybe he had seen the paper all along, but he had been trying to ignore it. He narrowed his eyes, tried to focus. Moments later, both paper and pill bottles had been swept into Stuart's medicine bag.
"I can take it from here, Dr. MacDonald,"
Dr. Lane said. He came up from behind and put his hand, too cold, on Stuart's shoulder. The gesture was startling, but the squeeze that followed told Stuart that Dr. Lane hadn't noticed anything. He hadn't seen the pills or the paper. He was only trying to be comforting, in his own stiff way. Dr. Lane kept his hand on Stuart's shoulder, guiding him out of the room, telling him to have a seat on the sofa in the living room. He would be right down. As Stuart walked out, he took note of the 10 volumes of his mother's journals lined up on her bedroom shelf. "The decision about when to publish them will be yours, darling, once your mother is on permanent vacation," she had instructed Stuart several times. When, but not whether, to publish them. Stuart did not remember reading the paper on the bedside table, but as he walked down the stairs, he could hear its final words, as clear as if his mother was speaking them in his ear. "May God forgive me, and I hope everyone else will forgive me, even if they cannot understand. My position is too awful to endure, and nobody realizes it. What an end to a life in which I tried always to do my best, in spite of many mistakes." Later, perched on the couch in the living room, Stuart watched Dr. Lane's hand as it filled out a stack of medical forms. Dr. Lane's knuckles all had the same slight bend to them, spreading out like feathers one behind the other, never pausing. Stuart had positioned himself close enough to see the forms, but he tried to look straight across from him at the wall with its pictures and paintings carefully dusted. A photo of the fabled Aunt Fred hung in the middle. Fred had been his mother's cousin and closest friend, but she had died young enough that Stuart knew her only through the countless stories that his mother had retold about their time together. In the photo, Fred peered out from a row of trees, hiding most of her body behind one of them, with a wide smile that did not match her stance. "Her personality was larger than life," his mother said. "If only you could have seen the way she buoyed a room. She understood me. Parts of me like no one else," she told Stuart once. And after that, he had been more determined to ask the right questions. The photo on the wall must have been taken at Park.